happens after you get struck by lightning? There's thunder.
So, happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your day thus far. Hope you have a safe, wonderful weekend. So, the Eagles are back fresh off their bye week, week 7. So, welcome to the week 8 Philadelphia Eagles Pittsburgh Steelers preview. Make sure you do a favor, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network if you haven't done so. Make sure you do the same on the Nicky Stees channel. This stream is also being streamed on that channel as well. So it's real simple. All you can do is open a separate tab on your Chrome or your Safari, wherever you're on. Type in Nicky Stees. It'll be the first. The channel will be the first channel you see at on the search results. Just click on that. You'll click on the Week 8 preview there. Drop a like on that as well. Also, you don't want to miss out on that one as well because there's an exclusive poll that I'm able to create on the Nicky Stees broadcast of this preview. It's a simple poll question asking who you think is going to win and lose. Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers, or a tie, which I throw in there because sometimes you never know in the NFL. So let's just get right into this. So the Eagles are fresh off their bye week. We're the only undefeated team in the NFL so far this season. We are 6-0. We are rolling. We have one of the top defenses in the league thus far. We have 9 interceptions to only giving up 7 defensive passing touchdowns right there. We have a top-flight secondary, Darius Slade Jr., James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and we are just rolling that right there. Also, we have a top offense right there. Jalen Hurts, clearly one of the better passers. And right there, you got some of the top weapons in the NFC. You got best wide receiver room with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Can even use Quez Watkins as well. So, I mean, we're on a roll right now. Now, hopefully, we got to keep that momentum up after the bye week right there. Hopefully, our players didn't take too much time sitting around, eating, saying too much time playing video games, all that stuff. Hopefully, they still stayed in football shape, got in their cardio workouts during the bye week, and they're back ready for this week. And speaking of this week, we do have some news out of Eagles practice to discuss first. So, the Philadelphia Eagles, Lane Johnson, he even posted on Twitter, I'm back. He's cleared the concussion protocol. He will be back. And the only person so far that's kind of questionable as of right now is Brandon Graham. But we still have a couple days. We still don't know what that decision is going to be yet. So far, it's looking like it's going to be a game-time decision regarding Brandon Graham. And obviously, we pull off the trade. We traded a 4th to the Bears. We got in return Robert Quinn, and he did practice with the team apparently yesterday on Thursday. So there's a possibility Robert Quinn's going to get some playing time on Sunday at home against the Steelers. So it'll be interesting what happens. We'll get to see how Robert Quinn fits in with this defense right off the bat. So there's a good chance of that. But we'll have to see what happens. And obviously we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, to put it nicely, are underachieving compared to past seasons thus far. They're 2-5 headed into this game. Now, to be fair, they lost a lot of pieces on their offensive line. They don't have the strongest wide receiver core in the world. And Kenny Pickett is still a rookie, though. And he's struggling thus far. He's got 2 touchdowns to 7 INTs. He even threw 3 last week on Sunday night against the Dolphins in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. So Kenny Pickett, now I'm not going to say he's a bust. He's only a rookie, but he certainly has some work to do. And the fact that we're playing the Steelers at this point in Kenny Pickett's rookie season, that's one area that looks like a favorable matchup for us. But I'll get more to that in a few moments with our keys to victory. So obviously, though, going into this matchup, see us, the Philadelphia Eagles, we're looking like the favorites right now. We are clearly looking like the favorites right now to go out there and get this W right there. And if anyone's joining into this stream right now, please do me a favor if you haven't done so already. Drop a like and leave a comment in the live chat if you haven't done so. And I got the stream up on both channels, on the Hardcore Sports Network and the Nikki Stees channel. Right there. And then, so make sure you hit the like on both them right there and show appreciation for both. And as I was saying, though, on paper, yeah, this should be an easy matchup for us on paper. But, there's the old saying, and it's true, any given Sunday. You may think like, okay, yeah, obviously this should be an easy matchup. But sometimes you never know. Upsets do happen. And let's face it, this Philadelphia Eagles team is bound to lose eventually. So as long as we're undefeated, there's always that possibility that our first loss could be coming ahead. Now, I don't see it happening this week against the Steelers, but sometimes you never know in the NFL. But that's why, as Boomer said it, that's why we go out and play. That's why we play the game. You may think on paper, oh, this team's far superior. They're far better. They're going to kick their asses. Yeah. But sometimes you never know. So we'll have to see what happens right there. One moment. In case you're wondering, got the Eagles mug right here. But okay, so because the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, obviously they're a struggling team. Like I said, I mean, their offensive line is one of their main concerns. They don't have a strong offensive line because obviously, because we look at, Villanueva's gone. A lot of their key, Marquise Pouncey's retired. So many of their key pieces that were part of that offensive line over the years are gone, and that's a retooling offensive line right there in Pittsburgh. I mean, that's one of the things that played a factor in Kenny Pickett's early struggles because his offensive line doesn't give much protection. He's forcing throws. He doesn't have the strongest wide receiving core in the world thus far. And he got his best weapons are Clay Chase-Poole and George Pickens, who George Pickens is solid. He's showing some potential. He's had a few decent games. He had 6 receptions for 83 yards against the Bills. He did have 6 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown against the Dolphins. So George Pickens has shown he could do something, but he's still a rookie. He's still adjusting. Chase Claypool, he's a decent option. But overall, though, yeah, Steelers don't have much of the wide receiver room, and Kenny Pickett's trying to force passes to guys that aren't true top options at wide receiver. And he doesn't have much of an O-line, so that can play favorable for us, especially being that our defense has 17 sacks on the season because, right, think about that. And the struggling offensive line going against the Philadelphia Eagles defense that's recorded 17 sacks in 6 games. That certainly sounds favorable for me, from my perspective, don't it? Don't sound favorable for us to get to the quarterback, get some pressure on him, and get a few sacks right there? Pull that up maybe to 21 or 22 sacks on the season? Possibly getting, around 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 sacks this game. There's a good chance that happens here in this game for the Eagles. So I like the odds of us getting to the quarterback right there and forcing Kenny Pickett to make plays or dropping him to the ground behind the line for a loss. So I like the odds of that right there. I think there's strong odds that's going to happen right there. So I like what I'm seeing right there. And you also have our defense. We have 9 interceptions thus far, the best secondaries in the league, like I alluded to. Going against a rookie quarterback who's struggling to find his rhythm, forced to make passes. And he's still, very early in his career. So this is a very favorable time for our defense to be matching up against Kenny Pickett. This is a very favorable time for us to get a few turnovers there as well. I mean, this is a matchup on paper should strongly favor us. The only thing that could maybe be a concern is our run defense, as we're giving up 5.5 yards a carry on average. Right now, we're going to get, what's this? Yeah, you got Najee Harris back there at the backfield for the Steelers. And Najee Harris, the Steelers might try to run the ball a little bit with Harris. We'll have to see what he does there. That could be a concern right there if they decide to try to run the ball, because our run defense has struggled a little bit, which is why I've pushed since week 1 that we give Jordan Davis more snaps. Because you remember after week 1, I made a video response to head of the Hardcore Sports Network, Mitch Kovsky, saying that in his video, when he said that Jordan Davis should get more snaps. So from that video, if you watch that video, that I've been on board with giving Jordan Davis more snaps, try to help stop the run. So that's one thing we could do right there. And if Robert Quinn does play, I'll be curious how they're going to use him in the rotation. It'll be interesting to see right there, especially if Brandon Graham's hurt. He might either not be playing or getting very few snaps, and we'll be getting more time for Robert Quinn to get adjusted into this defense. Who knows? But that could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. We will see. But the only thing about the Steelers' offense going into this matchup that I'm maybe a little bit concerned with is trying to stop the run. But even if Najee Harris has a decent game, that shouldn't be enough to stop us. That shouldn't stop us from being able to go to 7-0 and get this dub against the Steelers. So even though that is a little bit of a concern, I don't think that's going to stop us at all. I don't see that stopping the Eagles at all. So we should still be able to win this game. Now, to be fair, though, I do want to point out the Steelers still have some decent players on defense, though, too. I mean, you still got Mika Fitzpatrick is back there. You still got Cameron Hayward, who's been on 5 straight Pro Bowls going into this. And, of course, you got, Miles Jack, formerly the Jaguars. He's having a solid season for them thus far. So there's still some decent players there on that Steelers defense, though, too, that we can't completely underestimate. Another big story is that for the Steelers, though, is that TJ Watt was activated off IR, and he's on the 21-day window to return. Now, he did practice on Wednesday for the first time since getting injured week 1, but that does not guarantee that he's going to play, though, on Sunday. It just means that he's getting back into shape. There's a chance he might not play till the Steelers' next game in week 9, or are they on their bye week 9, or are they week 9 or week 10, whenever the Steelers play next? There's a good chance that might be when TJ Watt makes the return. So we might not even have to worry about him stepping on the field, though. But we'll see about that one. I don't think TJ Watt's going to play, though. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening right now. So let's see. To all the viewers that are in here, though, if you haven't done so already, please do me a favor. Drop a like. Leave a comment in the live chat right here. We'll greatly appreciate it. It does a lot to help out with the algorithm. Now I'm going to move into it now. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to discuss the keys to victory a little bit for this Eagles-Steelers game. So I'm going to keep this relatively more simple and to the point with some of these keys. Just that keep it simple thing. But so the first main key to victory is don't sleep on the Steelers right here. Because, look, you're going into this matchup, obviously, as the favorites. Your favorites to win by 2 scores as of right now for the Eagles. You're clearly the better overall team. Right now, you've been playing better this season. You have the better record. You're at home. You've dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. We've won 14 straight against them in Philadelphia during the regular season, going back to 1966. So clearly we're the favorites, but you can't take this team for granted, even with all that being in your favor. Because we know there's the old cliche, like I said, any given Sunday, meaning you never know. Any team could upset anybody. I mean, the Steelers could upset the Eagles for all. It could happen. The Browns could upset the Bengals on Monday Night Football. I mean, sheesh, you could have just about anything could happen. The Patriots could beat the Jets again. Point is, any of these underdog teams could somehow find a way to win in one of these games. So we don't want to sleep on the Steelers, take it for granted, and think this is going to be an easy game, not coming to this game fully prepared, coming to this game overconfident. We don't want that happening, because that would be the easiest way for us to take our first loss of the season here, is just coming to this game overconfident, thinking, oh, Kenny Pickett's just a rookie. It's just the Steelers. They're complete doo-doo. We're not worried about them. We're looking past them. That's the easiest way right there to get beat. You come in, you're not worried about the Steelers. You're kind of looking past them. You're not focused on them. That could be the quickest way for all of a sudden Kenny Pickett to flash his potential, Najee Harris to get going, and for the offense to fall apart all of a sudden, is if we don't, if we look past this game. So basically that's one of the keys right, not to sleep on them and not to look past the Steelers right there to prevent an embarrassing upset loss in front of our home crowd. Another key to victory, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but is to obviously force Kenny Pickett to make plays. Okay, I mean, it's a very favorable matchup for us to do that. You got 17 sacks already for the season, like I alluded to. Steelers don't have a good offensive line. So that's easy for us to, bring the blitz at the defensive line. We don't have to necessarily really go all out blitz, but we can still, beat the Steelers O-line, and we can get to Kenny Pickett easy and get some sacks or force him to make some bad plays there. So that's one key right there, because obviously we bring the pressure on him. We get some sacks, maybe even get 4, 5, 6 sacks right there. Or even if we don't get to sack him, maybe he's forced to throw the ball. He tries testing it into double coverage just to get rid of it. Maybe we get a pick or 2 out of it, or maybe even 3. Because knowing how this defense is looking, we could get several picks on Kenny Pickett right here. Those guys are, so that's one thing we can definitely do with this right here. So obviously you bring that pass rush, you force him to throw the ball, you get some sacks right there. That's obviously favorable for us right there. Especially those turnovers give us leverage with, what am I looking to say? So it gives us, favorable possession right there off the turnovers, favorable field position off of it. And that's how mainly we've been getting our favorable field position through the season, is off of turnovers. Because we haven't really we haven't done anything from a return standpoint on special teams, punt returns and kick returns we haven't really done anything special this season. We've been mainly getting favorable field possession off of turnovers. So if we can get to Kenny Pickett, force him to make some plays, we can continue to do that here, get some turnovers and get favorable field possession, which will set up our offense to do well right there. So obviously I emphasize this main point because it sets up so many things. Because it keeps the Steelers off the scoreboard, sets up favorable field possession, which allows us to score more points offensively with the weapons we have on offense. You got A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, can even run the ball with Miles Sanders and get something out of it. Or even Jalen Hurts can run a little bit too. So obviously right there, we win the turnover battle. That helps us out with field position, helps us score points right there. So that's another reason it's important right there. I feel if you force Kenny Pickett to make some bad plays, force him out of his comfort zone, especially with him being a young quarterback who's still trying to adjust to the NFL level, that'll help our defense out spectacularly. And we can do so much with it right there. So yeah, that's another one of the main keys right there. So, and another key right there is our offensive line has to stay healthy, because look, we saw that one game where our offensive line got a little banged up against the Cardinals for late the second quarter going into the third quarter. And we saw our offense struggle a little bit without some of those key pieces there. And we know Lane Johnson, he's always one of the main important pieces of our offensive line. And if you've been following the injury report, you guys know he's been cleared. Lane Johnson is cleared to come back, so he'll be helping us out on that offensive line. So obviously that looks good. So we're going into this game healthy, but hey, this offensive line has to stay healthy and they got to be durable throughout the game right there, because we see what can happen if this offensive line, if a few players go down, Kelsey goes down or Landon Dickerson goes down, any of these guys go down, that could be troubling right there for our offensive line. Right there, that could be troubling for the offense. We don't have that line to block, because the Steelers still have some good players on defense too. Still got Miles Jack is there, Cameron Hayward's there. And if our offensive line isn't at full strength, throughout at any point in the game, those guys could potentially make some plays for that Steelers defense. So, yes, it is important that our offensive line stays healthy. Well, not just that, but I'll expand it to we just got to stay healthy as a team throughout the game, obviously, because we obviously don't want to lose players. So that's an obvious one right there. So those are some of those main keys to victory right there are don't sleep on the Steelers and basically / don't come into this game rusty. Force Kenny Pickett to make plays. We got to stay healthy. Another thing right here too is can have a good passing performance. Gotta get a good passing performance here from Jalen Hurts. We saw how the Steelers defense did against the Buffalo Bills right there with Josh Allen. Now, obviously, Jalen Hurts is not the same level tier quarterback that a Josh Allen is. However, what I'm saying, though, is the Buffalo Bills are one of the top offenses in the league. You saw the Steelers struggle to stop them. We also have a top offense here with all those weapons around us here with, Smitty, obviously AJ, Goddard, even Pascal and Watkins you can throw in. Hell, even the running backs in the passing game, if you decide to use Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, those guys in the passing game. So obviously, hey, based on the way the Steelers have looked thus far particularly against the Buffalo Bills, for example, this could give us an opportunity to do well offensively. So obviously, got to do well in the passing. So obviously, we need efficiency in the passing game right here. Hurts has got to be able to get the ball to his targets right there. And that's a good way to score some points against the Steelers defense right there as well. So so efficient passing right there. He can get the ball to A.J. Brown. Those guys can make some plays, Goddard and those guys, and you pretty much get the point, right? So efficient passing right there. So those are the main keys to victory right there. Obviously, too, we got to be able to run the ball, too. Play disciplined football. Meaning don't give up a bunch of stupid penalties, which we've done better with lately. Obviously, those are keys right there. Hold on to the ball. I mean, these are just obvious keys that you got to do in any NFL game right there. So I had the three main keys. Want to do. Hey, Mitch, thank you for coming in. Right now, it's have Good Friday right here. Glad to be back discussing some Eagles football, doing a weekly preview. It's been a week since then, and I feel refreshed and ready to feel refreshed while talking about this. So thanks for coming in. Mitch, head of the Hardcore Sports Network. Right, as I was saying right there, so those are pretty much the main keys. The three keys of victory I wanted to emphasize the most were don't come into this game rusty / sleep on the Steelers, force Kenny Pickett to make some plays, and obviously the other one was be able to pass the ball efficiently. Those are the three main keys to victory right there. But so I think obviously we should be able to win this game. I see this game. I see it based on the way we played thus far this season. I see us possibly winning, say, maybe 27-17. Because usually we haven't really done, we only scored over 30 points. What was it, one time? No, twice. We scored over 30 points twice so far. So I do think there's possible that we're probably maybe say like 27 points, but I still think we get the dub, like say 27-17 or possibly like 28-16, something along those lines right there. So I see us at least being able to beat them by 10 or more points right here. So because clearly in the Steelers, now I think about it, I'd be shocked if they even get to 17 points in this game right here. Although I do think it is possible, though, maybe late in the game, though, in garbage time, the Steelers might put up some points. Maybe we get to the point where we go into the fourth quarter, it's something like 24-3 Eagles, and then maybe in garbage time, fourth quarter, the Steelers maybe score a few touchdowns possibly. So that is possible that might happen right there, but either way, I see us winning this game and extending our record to 7-0 and still being the kings of the NFC going into November. I see us winning this game. But anyone else, if you're tuning in, you're still here, can let me know in the live chat what your score prediction is for this game. So, all right. So, yes, as I was saying, I see us definitely. So that's how I see it right there. So I see us winning this game, going to 7-0. But hey, we'll ultimately have to see what happens right here, though. So, hey, we'll see what happens. They'll going down 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's keep that winning streak against the Steelers in Philadelphia going. Let's keep that momentum going after the bye week and bump our record up to 7-0. Take care of the Pittsburgh Steelers and then move on from there. There to the Houston Texans, bring them on. Bring us up to 8-0 after a game against the Texans. And yep, so all I'm going to say on a final note to everyone here is thank you for tuning in. If you're planning on going out this weekend at any point, I emphasize this point again because it's an important point. If you plan on going out this weekend for any Halloween costume parties out in public, or you just plan on going out and drinking, please, if you're going to do so safely. Call an Uber, Lyft, taxi, or designated sober driver. Please do not drive while intoxicated. And please have a safe weekend. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I'll be back on Tuesday on the Hardcore Sports Network to give my recap of the game. And if you're not checking out my channel, please do so. I'm uploading a lot of shorts about Philadelphia Eagles and Philadelphia 76ers subjects, as well as some other NFL and NBA subjects on my channel, Nicky Stees. So if you're not doing so, please check out those videos right there so you don't miss out. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say right there. Fly, Eagles, fly. It's Nicky Stees signing off, and I'll see